My YouTube recently suggested a video to me of this American Olympic sprinter named Noah Lyles. Apparently he's the guy threatening Usain Bolt's 200-meter record. So I went and researched Noah Lyles and I found some documentaries of his, and I found out that he's actually competing, generationally. His competition is this other dude named Arian Knighton, who already broke Bolt's 100-meter record, if I'm not mistaken. And it got me thinking about how young Arian Knighton was when he broke Bolt's record compared to how old Bolt was when he made that record. So I googled I googled about Arian Knighton and how old he was when he broke Usain Bolt's under 20 world record. Anyway, before Bolt, the under 20 100 meter was the 200 meter world record. No one had ever been able to do it in under 20 seconds. And then after Bolt, at least 3 more people did it in under 20 seconds. 3 more people broke his record. Or was it 2? It was Knighton and this other dude, Lungile from ntwana. This theme tends to carry into every aspect of life. This idea that things that once seemed impossible or high standard eventually just become the standard, and eventually they become the bare minimum. This is pretty much true for any record. Any world record gets broken eventually, because things that once seemed impossible, someone is like, why not? And then they do it, and then other people are like, oh, so it can be done. Fuck, I'm gonna do it better than him, and better than her, and better than them. And that's how we keep evolving. It may seem as though as a group, the human race as a species is deteriorating, both in terms of intellect, spirituality, physical health. We're just living shittier than ever, and we're weaker and more stupid than ever. Like, we know more than ever, of course, but we're also more stupid than I think there's a wedding. Oh yeah, there's a wedding going on in my neighborhood. That was kinda... Anyway, what was once groundbreaking becomes the standard. So my reasoning, maybe this might... No, I don't think this is extreme at all. I just think it's a matter of time. We will see these things eventually. That people end up doing things that were once considered superhuman. It's only a matter of time until we are superhuman. So yeah, even though like the large majority of our species is going down, the few of us that are going up, they are taking us to a whole other level. Especially the ones who are like ruthlessly pursuing breaking the mold, because every time the mold is broken, okay, imagine the mold is like a rock. Okay, the mold is a rock containing yolk. You break the mold inside this yolk. It's still soft, but it's holding shape. Of course, it's holding shape, and then that mold gets broken, and then the yolk, this side or on the next layer, is still holding somewhat of the shape, but it's a bit bent and dented in some areas. And then it hardens, and then you break that mold as well, and that also has its own deformities that are different, and you just keep breaking the mold until eventually you just have an entirely different shape. You could start with a circle and end up with a Greek god physique. Now that is an intentional example. where you can, like, if you're shaped like a circle, you break your own mold and you end up being shaped like a Greek or Egyptian god. Six-pack, abs, lats, you know what I'm saying? What man doesn't want those things? We all do, in all honesty. These guys who say, oh, I'm just happy with my body, they look like guys who work on their bodies aesthetically to build like a strong, attractive physique, and they're like, deep down they wish they had it, but they start thinking, oh, but I don't have the time, work, my child, oh man. Now this example doesn't just apply to human athletic potential, though that is where it's most obvious to see, but it's also most obvious to see in the fields of science and philosophy, the knowledge-seeking aspect of human endeavor. This leads me to another topic I wanted to discuss. I actually talked about this with my little brother about 2 weeks ago, about the compound effect of knowledge, which is a bit similar to the compound effect of athleticism, I guess. Wow, yeah. Human athletes are always getting better, like every decade, every like 5 years, every world record eventually gets broken, maybe like 10, you know. Some records, sure, they do last like 50 years now, provided we don't kill ourselves off as a species. Like if we live long enough, then every record will eventually get broken, to the point that humans, once upon a time, will look at humans of that new time, and relativistically, they will see superheroes compared to themselves. Those guys from like the second millennium and the second century in the second millennium, 2200, yeah, those people are gonna look like absolute superheroes, maybe even gods, to the people from like 13, BC, or like people from long ago. They just didn't have it like we do. Well, now the thing is, it looks like they were better than us because they weren't like as a majority intentionally deteriorating, like just living lifestyles that are ruining them and making them feel good about it. Think about it, even their superstars weren't like okay, when you think about it though, their superstars were nothing close to our superstars, in all honesty. Yes, they were sharper, they were sharper witted as a collective, but like their elites were nothing compared to our elites. Their rich people are nothing. They're paupers compared to like the rich people of the current day. Even if you look at it relativistically, just likewise, their smart people aren't even as numerous as our smart people. Yeah, you could argue that is maybe because of the heavy influence of indoctrination, like from our ancestral backgrounds, like our African culture, our religions, old science and stuff like that. But you also have to admit, Uguti, there are way more people now who are more questioning, more inquisitive, and they have way more of a platform than the smart people of back then. That's number 2. Likewise, they're supreme athletes, they're gladiators, their best warriors are nothing. I don't mean to disrespect our ancestors, of course, like we're here because of them, but the ones of us who are intentionally evolving will inevitably become better than them, and that's not a bad thing. That is the best thing. It shows that it shows Uguti, we as a species are moving forward, not backwards, not standing still. We're moving forward, and that is the best thing. In fact, you should want to be surpassed by the generation that comes after you. Because if the generation that comes after you is inferior to you, you're fucked. Similarly, I want my students to become better than me. Yeah, I want to be the best I can be. Like, I want to beat my like all you 20-year-old motherfuckers and upwards. I'm out to destroy every single one of you. But like my students, these little like 14-year-old boys downwards, I don't really consider them my competition yet. But even when they do become adults and like we're all trying to make it in the world, yes, I will absolutely crush them to the best of my ability. I will destroy and dominate them. But deep down, I kind of hope that my own students eventually become better than me. Like in every regard. Smarter, more articulate, physically stronger, more aesthetic. That's what I want from the generation after me. That's what I want from my son, Lebaka. Oh yeah. Oh okay. Fuck. That's why my nuts were itching. Lebaka. You have a duty to surpass me. Likewise, I have a duty to surpass my father. And you have a duty to surpass all your ancestors. We have the potential to become superhuman. It's only a matter of time.